for Flipkart, how it happens is that first of all, you are asked to sort of submit a business case. Sort of like for us, it was like you have to select a product of your own that you regularly use and come up with how you can improve it, what you can do better in that.
Okay.
So it's completely open for people to try out.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another series of podcasts. This is Chandan Palwar from GrowJunction. I welcome you all to Gonna Be Insightful Product Management domain-based podcast that is again powered by GrowJunction. Today, we have one of the eminent personalities with us, Mr. Tamal Dutta. He's currently working as a product manager in Flipkart company. Having joined the company in May 2019, he oversees the trust and safety space of the e-commerce giant and builds products and platforms to minimize frauds taking place around the organizations and abuse across buyers, sellers, and the supply chain. His role entails finding the critical balancing point between reducing losses due to fraud and maintaining a delightful customer and seller experience of the platform. Having completed his MBA from a prestigious IIM Bangalore institution in the year of 2019, Tamal started taking a keen interest in the field of product management when he was introduced to the subjects like new product development, information systems, artificial intelligence, machine learning for managers, science and management of big data, and design thinking during his MBA. And he fortunately excelled in all of them. So now I would like to welcome Mr. Tamal over this particular nicest platform of a podcast.
Hey, Chandan, thank you for having me over, and it's great to be here. Great to be part of GrowJunction, and good to be interacting with a fellow IIM guy right now. Right. So let's get started.
Absolutely. So before we start, I just we want to hear about you. Like I definitely must have missed upon your introduction. So where do you belong to, and how this journey, from like IIM Bangalore to to this product management space. So how did it went?
So Chandan, yes. So basically, to be very honest, like back in 2017-18, when I started doing my MBA, product management was not that visible a field, right? When you get into an IIM ABC or any of the top IIMs, what people were looking to get into was immediately a consulting, right? Was the domain that you're looking into. Probably the next after that was marketing. So I was completely focused into getting into marketing as my domain, right? A lot changed in the 2 years, like you mentioned. Like I went into a lot of subjects and realized that marketing is about selling a product at the end of the day, right? But there is a whole domain of product management which is out there, which is about also building a product and then selling it, right? Which has elements of marketing as well and elements of tech as well. And since I come from a tech background and have interest in marketing, which I feel like a perfect blend, right? And I was in Paris in my exchange term in ESCP, and there I got introduced to design thinking, right? And we used to have like the course there is like a 30 hours broken down into 15 hours classes and a 15 hours all-nighter session where you build a product overnight, right? Including, get food, music, everything. And this is how everybody, a group coming together and doing. And that sort of changed my way, that this is so very interesting to build products. And there's so many ideas that we throw around and so much understanding among members, right? That changed my idea. And I started going into product management. This is my first product management role in my life that I'm working with Flipkart. And I've been with them for 3 years till now. It has been a great learning experience. Flipkart is a great place to work for. And that is how, how my journey has been, right? From not knowing about product management to being into product management now for 3 years.
Right. I believe that, the approach that you used while, considering the fact that what domain interests you is quite, good, because you have, you have completed your internship in sales and marketing. That I believe, right? So which organization did you completed your internship?
Sure. So I interned with Airtel, and I was located in Gurgaon. And during my internship, I was looking into Airtel's DTH, direct to home division, and they were launching their internet box, which is a mashup of internet services plus cable services into one box that they were trying to sell. And I was looking into the market launch for that in the Delhi NCR region.
All right, that's great. So I think from then, from the internship that you had, made you given so much learnings and also clarity in mind what exact domain needs to pursue in the future, I think. Like your preference to product management must have come from the experiential learning that you did in an internship there.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. While you intern as a sales and marketing person, you get a lot of understanding about the market. Why is it very important to talk to your customers, right? That is basically, and all this understanding of marketing, go-to-market strategy, problem identification, problem solving, ideation, right? That becomes the top half of product management itself, right? So that you give 50% of product management is this part. The rest 50% is basically executing what you're planning, right? So that internship gives you a good understanding of the initial 50% from problem identification, customer interaction to coming to the point of problem solving. The rest of it, actual tech, doing the tech behind it, doing the actual launch behind it is the next part of product management, which sort of got me interested later on.
Okay, understood. So, like by your, the statement that you're stating right now. So what I able to believe is product management does include the marketing components and also the product development part that requires the tech knowledge for the people.
Yes. So just to understand, it doesn't require, just to clarify myself, it does not require tech knowledge as such, but you have to be keen towards technology, right? You don't have to come from a technology background at all. I have got, team members, peers in my in Flipkart who are from design background, sales and marketing background, from a complete production background as well, right? But the common thing is that they are interested by technology. When they open an app or when they see a product, they want to understand what is the solution, how we can better it. So that interest needs to come naturally to you, right? If that is there, it's okay to not have any tech knowledge, and you will naturally get prepared, right, about the amount of tech that you need to know about product management.
Understood. That's great. So you also mentioned, your foreign exchange, like in ESCP business school. So like you have been to ESCP business school that is located in Paris, UK, and have done masters in the management, business administration and management. And post that your you did your MBA at IIM Bangalore. So what was your motive of doing a double masters? Is it a double masters, or like people might, miscorrect themselves?
No, this is not a double masters. I had a 2-year full course in IIM Bangalore. Out of the 6 terms, one of my terms was as a masters in management exchange student in ESCP Europe.
Okay.
ESCP Europe is like the world's oldest and first business school, and it's now 200. I think it's 202nd year. So it was great to be part of something that historical as a part of my MBA.
Right. So how was your experience there at ESCP?
Great, absolutely. To be very honest, exchange for us when we go out. So first of all, you need to know that during that exchange term, as you might be aware, the grades do not matter for you do not carry over your grades back to India. Basically, you just carry back your credits, right? You have to just pass the subjects. Right. What it basically means, and I used to have ESCP classes for 2 days, all day, from 9 in the morning to 9 in the night, and rest 5 days free for traveling around Europe. So. Yeah, so it used to be around 2 days.
Had fun.
Yes, exactly, and that used to be similar, same for everybody. Give or take 1 day, and that is how it used to be. It used to be great fun. It will randomly roam around countries for days and months at a stretch, and then again you come back and do your classes. You complete most of your project work while sitting in trains. Right, while going from country to country. So it was an amazing sort of life-changing experience. That sort of, that happened.
Right, absolutely right. So, like if we ask you, like IIM Bangalore versus ESCP Business School in Paris, in context of the experiential learning that you had, what will you choose?
Sure, then it has to be IIM Bangalore. Like home is where the heart is at the end of the day. Like IIM Bangalore. The fact that I got lucky enough to be selected to be a part of IIM Bangalore, changed my life for the rest of it, right? And I got an opportunity to study at ESCP as a part of my experience with IIM Bangalore, right? IIM Bangalore is where all my friends are, right? They're where I've grown up as a person, as a product manager, as a student, everything. So IIM Bangalore completely has my heart for the rest of my life.
Okay, that's great. So now, taking this podcast to an entrepreneurial set of minds now. So like you have also been a co-founder at a company named as Qilluminati. So what exactly was the company, the motive of the company behind, and how you landed as a co-founder in that company?
Sure. So basically so I'm the one other part that you missed from my profile is the fact that I'm a very heavy ardent quizzer, and I've been quizzing for around 15 years of my life. Yeah, so basically we wanted four of us friends. We wanted to set up a group in Calcutta who will be managing quizzing events specifically for across institutes and across different cafes, colleges, schools. Right, so we wanted to build a team that would be able to do that, and that's how we founded Qilluminati, back in our days. Right, we've sort of handled multiple colleges. We hosted for even IIM Calcutta. Like I was lucky that I actually hosted quizzes for IIM Calcutta before I was an IIM student myself. Right, so
That's great.
so it's lucky to have. Yeah, so it's lucky to have these unique experiences. And after that, actually, out of the four of us, all of us now have. I went into IIM Bangalore. Another guy, he went into MICA, and another guy, he went into IIT Kharagpur. So all of sort of scattered later on to build our own careers individually, right?
Okay.
But quizzing is something that I keep on doing as individually in Flipkart as well. That is something that keeps me at peace at the end of a difficult day at work.
Right. That's great. I think having the entrepreneurial quality, the way you love have a good hand in quizzes, you implemented and turned it into monetary basis. So are you still continuing that startup, or it's like now you're concentrating more into the Flipkart?
Yeah, correct. Currently, we are not continuing that startup anymore, right?
Okay.
We focus, all of us, like I was telling you, has gone on individually in their own careers at this point, and we all wanted to focus, especially for the next few years of our lives, deeply focus on understanding how corporates work. Right.
Absolutely.
Later on, you never know in life
Right.
how will that come back. But currently, it's we are working in our individual corporate positions currently.
Right. So you have been working for like almost 3 years with Flipkart. And you're having number of years of experience in the corporates. Now, what exactly do you believe that having set with entrepreneurial back of one's individual personality? So when a particular person prepares himself to get into an entrepreneurship line altogether from the corporate, so how many number of years do a person requires to be at corporate to learn so much things that he or she might can implement in the startup that they pursue?
Well, the very MBA answer for this is, of course, it depends. It varies from person to person, and and also the level of courage and the confidence. At what level do you feel that you can, have learned enough, right? You'll have that soft signal in your head to understand, okay, this is my point.
Sorry to interrupt. The one thing that is coming to my mind, MBA teaches the business aspects too, but before the teaching the business aspects, it teaches how to be diplomatic to answers.
Yeah, exactly. exactly. Right. So like our professors tell us, like the correct answer in MBA is always it depends. Right. Now, how do you want to structure that? It depends basically again on the context that you're talking about.
Absolutely right. So moving forward, like we are excited to hear about your Flipkart journey. So how exactly you landed up into the product management role into the Flipkart? So do you want to share your insights how exactly you got selected in the company?
Correct. So absolutely, I think that would be helpful for the others who are aspiring as well. Is the fact that for Flipkart, we go through around 6-7 rounds of interview. But for people who are coming from campus, for example, like me, like Flipkart was my first interview in my final placements, and also my first product interview ever in my life, right? So in both ways, it sort of worked out for the good. I think the next day I had Microsoft lined up for an interview, but I had to drop out because I'd got an offer from Flipkart already. Right. So now the point was that for Flipkart, how it happens is that first of all, you are asked to sort of submit a business case. Sort of like for us, it was like you have to select a product of your own that you regularly use and come up with how you can improve it, what you can do better in that.
Okay.
So it's completely open for people to try out. Okay. And then you move into different rounds, like a product thinking round, problem solving round, HR rounds. Right, sort of slight technical round, right? So you go through 5-6 of this round, a lot of problem solving and interviews, right? Each round you can sort of take like 45 minutes to an hour, right? And this happens for companies, for laterals as well, for campuses as well. And based on that, you finally get selected. And once you get selected, right, if you're coming from lateral, of course, you would have interviewed for a particular position and you'll be placed in that position. But if you're coming from, a college or a campus, then you basically go through another round of onboarding where the company also maps you to what would be the right fit for you based on your preferences. company's preferences as well.
Okay. So I think that's great. So you landed up, at first, great, round of applause for you. Having your first ever interview in your campus that have the company have arrived, and also the first ever interview regarding the product management.
Yeah.
So that's a great round of applause for you. Even I do that. So moving forward, so what are the your current roles and responsibilities of being a product manager at company like Flipkart?
Sure. So I think you got my domain already sorted out, that I look into trust and safety, which is reducing fraud and abuse on the platform, right? Back in what sort of problems that sort of will give you an idea that what of problem statements that look into, right? For example, I look into building AI/ML models, right? How do I utilize data science to be able to predict the health of a customer, right? Whether a customer is a good customer or not, whether a transaction is a safe transaction on the platform or not. So how do you build AI/ML models to do that, right? Next is how to build experiences, right? Or to be able to differentiate between a good customer and a bad customer, right? For bad customer, you probably want to put them on a little more friction. For a good customer, you want to have as seamless experiences as possible, right? So these are the sort of domains I look into. The other thing is that you will be working with a lot of operational people, analysts, right? Whenever so for similar to my role, which is a back-end product management role, it's not a very UI-driven product management role.
Okay.
So in such cases, a lot of analyst operations teams will be working with. So how do you make their life easier, right? How do you build platforms, back-end platforms for them where they can do and get their job done very, very quickly?
Right.
So this is sort of, you can summarize are the main domains that I look into.
Okay. That's great. I think, your roles and responsibilities having a good hand in, the risk and the fraud thing. So this must have, get a feeling of that you are basically a crime branch officer as in under the government of India. So it must, give you a feeling like that you need to be a detective kind of a thing, that a bad customers might not able to pursue their, the bad things that they actually do under the name of frauds.
Yes, absolutely. Like our team, like we sometimes describe it, this is the closest we'll get to being Sherlock Holmes in our real lives. This is how close this role gets to actually understanding, detecting customers' patterns and behaviors and trying to predict what they're going to do on the platform. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting, and it's a field that is growing globally as well. A lot of companies are exploring how to differentiate between good customers and bad customers, especially because the companies that started in the 2000s have now matured. Right now, they do not want to spend money on having bad apples or bad customers on the platform anymore. Now they want to focus the next step of their growth on having better and better customers. So that's why this field becomes very interesting and very futuristic going ahead.
Right. Basically, unfortunately, as we move a number of years later, definitely the role, the domain need will be increasing, because the people is, people are these days are unemployed and having, using tactics like to get this free and get that thing in a fraud manner. So I think this is a, real-time need of the organizations to have experts, industry experts under the fraud safety and the, so the safety and precautions to maintain for the organization. That's good. Right. Absolutely. So you, as we know that you are a product manager too at at company like Flipkart. So you have been a product manager one. So what exactly is this, like PM1 and PM2? Is this a hierarchical difference between both of the designations at Flipkart, or what is exactly this all about?
So absolutely. So basically, so for somebody who's starting as a fresher or from an engineering domain, you basically start as an APM in Flipkart, which is an associate product manager, right? For somebody who's coming from an MBA background or with existing product experience, they join as a PM1 or a PM2, right? Okay. So the structure is like a PM1, PM2, senior product manager, group product manager, director of product, and so on and so forth, right?
Okay.
Right. So, and how it varies is basically with the level of independence, right? So from a PM1 or PM2, the main difference is how, as a PM1, you'll be able to probably do the same things, but you'll do it with a lot of help from your seniors, right?
Right.
PM2 is when you can do the same things, but without having to reach out to a lot of people. You can own a lot of things completely on your own. And the more you move from execution to strategy and planning is how your career progresses. And once you move into GPM and above roles, you also have people that report to you. Currently, as a product manager, work is most difficult because you are handling so many stakeholders, but you have nobody who will report to you. So nobody, they are all reporting to their own managers, just trying to bring them all together and get something out. right? So as you move to a GPM level, you start having people to command on it, command and drive as a part of the team as well.
Okay, thanks. Thank you so much for giving this clarity on the hierarchical aspect of how exactly the product management flow works in an organization. So, like, we receive, so many queries from the people or audience regarding the remuneration part. So, like, they do worry about, like, some people have a mind in sense that they need a particular job in which either there is a job security or there is a higher remuneration, or another aspect is that work life balance. So what aspects, all of, like, among these three aspects, what aspects do you believe that product management has definitely definitely have a definite amount of victory over the other domains?
Sure. So first of all, is definitely work-life balance, right? Is one, right? This is a job which basically, even if you're in the most difficult or the newest of startups, you can, have at least 1.5 to 2 days off in a week to relax, right? And if you can, and also that flexibility that you can also work from home, work from anywhere that you would want to, right? So that it sort of has that work-life balance and, mental peace sort of level that brings. And secondly, how the other thing that is specifically for people who are looking for a lot of responsibility-based roles, right? Because which can be, both a positive or a deterrent for somebody, right? Somebody who wants to have less responsibility, wants to be less visible. It's absolutely right to grow that in that domain as well, right? But here you cannot avoid being responsible or visible all the time, right? You are at the line of fire whenever something goes wrong, right? But that responsibility or the feeling of being exposed to a lot of stakeholders and teams excites a lot of people, right? So work-life balance, responsibility, a lot of visibility. If you're looking for such things into this domain, it's great. And remuneration also, as you know, like purely from a money perspective, a product management job pretty much pays well at different levels altogether, right?
Okay.
Right. So that way also your more or less would be sorted.
Right. I think that among those three aspects, I think the product management is winning over other domains. So like before, as you mentioned earlier in the, while we begin this particular podcast, that's in the year of 2017, there was no, hike in the name of product management as in a career domain. So I think that's right. But nowadays, what exactly is the product management all about? Like PM is basically, overpassing other domains. So people are preferring PM over marketing, PM over finance, PM over any other source of domains.
Yes.
I think so. I don't think, right now I am, a marketing candidate, but I don't know how, what impact gonna be there on my preferences of the domain post this podcast.
You shouldn't say that while you are working as an intern in GrowJunction. They would love to have you as a sales and marketing person with the team.
No, the company is flexible, and they have given us freedom and independence to express our views. So now coming forward, what exact skills that are required to become a product manager or have a smooth flow from the recruitment aspect to the selection of being a PM?
Yes. So basically, you are as a product manager, two main skills that you require, right? Okay. One is product thinking, another is problem solving, right? The rest of it will fit, right? In an interview, you will be able to manage, and of course, there are common themes that always come out, like being, flexible and being open in an interview, being right in an interview, being transparent in an interview. All these things are common, but there are two major things that sticks out, right? Okay. Problem solving is one. In product management interviews, you'll be given a lot of problems. Like, let's say, for example, I give you like Flipkart, return rates are very high. How do you plan to go ahead and solve it? Okay. Right? Netflix's subscribers are dropping. How would you plan and go ahead and solve it? And a difference from consulting interviews and product interviews is that consulting interviews about finding the problem, and there is sort of where the interview ends. Okay. Product interviews is about finding the problem, finding what possible solutions are there, prioritizing what would be the right solution, right? Okay. And then planning how to do that, right? Approach. So it's a much longer and much more detailed interview. Okay. So that problem solving interviews you need to be prepared for, and what it helps is to look at everyday problems like this Netflix problem. Just think it about in your head and try to structure it. What are the problems? How can I solve it? If I'm solving it, if I have 5 solutions, what do I think is the best cost versus benefit in the solution, right? Which is a long-term versus a short-term look, right? So, and what should I prioritize if as a product manager? If you do these exercises more and more on your own, in your own mind, it helps you, right, to to actually sit for an interview later on.
Right.
And the next thing is, which basically connects to this, is the concept of product thinking, right, which is something that you develop as you do more interviews and more of these practices. So how do you think like a product manager, right? And instead of thinking just like a consultant of just finding the problem, but how do you take it from a problem to a solution state, right?
Okay.
So that product thinking is something that you start developing the more you look into apps and start thinking into problems and their solutions as well.
Absolutely right. So thank you so much, Tamal, for getting on board with all of us and getting, teach a number of people, a number of audience in the context of product management. And I'm sure that this podcast will be so much helpful because there have been multiple podcasts based on the product management domain. But this podcast is very different because you are, having a prestigious IIM Bangalore stamp over, your personality and your profile. And moreover, you're having experiential learning from ESPC, be it a PM2 under the company Flipkart. So I think your experiential learning will definitely going to help number of subscribers of GrowJunction and to the people. So if they're finding this information very useful and they're enjoying the content, so just like this particular podcast and share this to your friends, your family, and your colleagues. So thank you so much, Tamal, for getting on board with all of us.
Thank you, Chandan. Thank you so much. And best of luck for your journey with GrowJunction as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir.